Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and today we are talking about Palantir Technologies PLTR stock and why there is a secret opportunity hidden in this stock that not many people know about. We will also go over the newest PLTR stock price targets and price predictions by analysts that take into consideration Palantir's full potential. I will also go over the latest PLTR stock news and analysis, which means that I will address if Palantir's stock price is a good buying opportunity right now or not. Lastly, we will discuss Palantir's overall growth forecasts just to see how much revenue this company will be making in the next few years. Go and press the like button right now for more PLTR stock news updates. Comment down below your strategy for PLTR stock. Turn on all the subscription notifications to stay informed, and now let's get right into today's stories. Lately, the big data and analytics company named Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR, has dropped in price by a whole 30%, which means that this stock is either a great buying opportunity right now, or it means that this is just the beginning of an even larger pullback. Part of the reason why the PLTR stock is falling is not due to the company itself underperforming, but rather it's what's happening in the overall economy, which we will dive more into later in the video. But one of the main reasons why the stock is falling, along with the broader market, is rising inflation rates and potentially interest rates in the future, which is scaring investors. Another thing that does not put PLTR stock shareholders at ease is Palantir's large valuation and high multiples, but Palantir is actually in good company because they are just one of many other great growth stocks that are in the same boat, like Shopify, Lucid Motors, and Square. However, despite Palantir's lofty valuation, the company itself is still a high-performing software-as-a-service company that has matched or even exceeded Wall Street's overall financial projections and expectations, which is fantastic news. The outlook for Palantir's fourth quarter also looks very enticing because according to current projections, analysts have forecasted that Palantir will bring in around $402 million of revenue in the fourth quarter. However, Palantir themselves provided an outlook, and they said that they will actually bring in $418 million, which means that they will yet again beat analysts' predictions in their upcoming earnings report. However, now let's talk about some of the secret potential that the PLTR stock holds that some people may know about, but maybe haven't thoroughly thought through, and we're going to start by talking about cryptocurrencies. Palantir's Foundry software is ideal for basically any type of cryptocurrency based company or exchange, and as the world becomes more digitalized, cryptocurrencies will naturally become more mainstream, so Palantir could receive a huge influx of new deals from these cryptocurrency companies. These companies will include the likes of Coinbase and Robinhood because Palantir can guarantee compliance-based solutions and anti-money laundering practices among banks and brokerages along with exchanges, so as crypto becomes more mainstream, that means regulations and compliance will become necessary, and that's where Palantir will truly shine. This could provide Palantir exposure to a whole new market that is worth billions of dollars, so their part to play in the cryptocurrency revolution should not be overlooked in the slightest because it could put major money into investors' pockets. Another thing that investors underestimate about Palantir is their investments. Palantir has spent hundreds of millions of dollars, just like Google, into smaller companies that have the capability to become large cap companies in the future, which will provide Palantir exponential returns as time goes on. Some notable companies that Palantir is connected to is Wajoo, which is a vehicle data analytics company, Faraday Future, which is an electric vehicle company, Bird Global, which is a micro-mobility company, and Babylon, which provides phone-based healthcare apps, along with Cellularity, which is a leader in cellular medicine. Essentially, when you invest into Palantir, you are also relying on the growth of these smaller companies, so in a weird way, investing in a PLTR stock is like investing into an ETF which holds multiple companies. However, in Palantir's case, you have no legal ownership of these other companies, but you will receive benefits from their growth. Palantir is a good-sized company, and the companies that they have invested into are small-cap companies, which provide great growth potential. So even if most of these companies don't work out in the end, the ones that do can more than cover up for any losses, which will give Palantir both stability and a long-term growth trajectory. Now, to talk more about why the PLTR stock is falling, it's mainly because the US Federal Reserve has become more hawkish, which means that they are taking a more aggressive tone when talking about the threat of inflation, which has scared investors into selling some of their growth stocks. This also means that the Federal Reserve may increase interest rates slightly earlier than anticipated to stop the inflation, but it seems like we are in a lose-lose scenario. Either inflation keeps going up, or the alternative is that interest rates need to rise to stop inflation, but then we are stuck with higher interest rates. So the Fed needs to carefully weigh the pros and cons of either of these actions, and regardless, I think the market is going to feel an impact regardless about which one they pick. But clearly both are needed. Either way, the current PLTR stock price is around $19, which is a great deal, especially if what Palantir's management said is true, and that Palantir is going to grow at a 30% growth rate for their revenues over the next 4 years. However, I would say that Palantir's management is actually wrong, and that Palantir is more on track to receiving a 40% annual growth rate year over year until 2025. And if they keep investing into small cap companies and cryptocurrencies become more mainstream, I could see this growth potential even going further than 2025. Now, if Palantir's management is correct about their revenue growth rate and their free cash flow projections, the PLTR stock should at least be worth around $38.81, and even if it takes Palantir 1 to 2 years to reach this price target, that would still represent a 30% rate of return for investors, which actually beats the historical returns of the overall market. More good news is that if you look closely at the PLTR stock chart, we can see that every time so far that Palantir has fallen in value below $20, that the stock price has always bounced back up and recovered from it. We should also keep in mind that Palantir's commercial client base is rapidly growing and developing, which will increase their revenues by a large margin, considering that in Q3, Palantir's commercial revenues made up around 44% of their total revenues. So it's nice to see that Palantir has two business segments that are both doing very well, and if one of them falls, the other one normally increases in revenue to make up for the lack of revenue that the other one brought in. And we have seen this happen multiple times between their commercial and government segments in their earnings report. I also want to point out that Forbes has a PLTR stock price prediction of $29 per share, and that's their price target for 2022, which is pretty excellent. And if that price target is indeed true, then the stock is a clear buy right now. I also personally like Palantir Technologies for their management team because it's ran by very experienced and accomplished people, including their CEO Alex Karp, who I personally would just not bet against, and we also have to remember that Peter Thiel is also on the management team. Again, I would also not bet against Peter Thiel and his investing strategies. However, analysts seem to be mixed and divided about PLTR because they say that the company is so secretive that it's hard for them to value the company correctly. And I can understand that to a degree, but I think we have all of the information that we truly need just based off of their financials and the amount of customers that they've been obtaining each quarter. Palantir is both a great aggressive growth stock and a great defensive stock because the revenues that they get from their government business is very safe and secure, and their commercial business gives them the ability to grow aggressively. However, Palantir will have to keep growing both of these segments so they do not fall behind other data analytics companies like Splunk, ticker symbol SPLK, because companies like them are looking to apply the same strategy, which increases competition between firms. Investors that hold PLTR stock need high conviction, otherwise you probably shouldn't even hold it if you're thinking about selling it when it dips. Also, I think Palantir has a great business model overall. Just listen to what the article has to say about their business model, and I quote, "When it comes to value-adding software products, the software as a service model holds supreme. It lowers the barriers for prospective customers while ensuring fairer prices. Palantir has the potential to be an unmatched SaaS company as it proves the value of its offerings to enterprises with deeper pockets to spend on actionable big data analytics innovations," end quote. Palantir has their work cut out for them because as time goes on, the big data, AI, and the analytics environment will become more competitive. But luckily, Palantir is very innovative because they have some of the best engineers on the planet, so I think they will be a great long-term play and investment investment because I am pretty sure that Palantir has plans to make even new partnerships and invent new platforms in the future. Right now, Palantir just needs to survive and not lose any ground against any of their competitors or rivals, because even if Palantir can't outgrow their competitors in the short term, I think they can outlast their competitors in the long term. Sadly, analysts do not seem to think so highly of Palantir Technologies because according to a TipRanks survey, Palantir has an overall sell rating on it, with a $23.14 price target. Out of 8 Wall Street analysts, only 1 analyst says to buy the stock, while 3 say to hold it and 4 analysts say to sell it. Currently, the low-end price target is $18 and the high-end price target is $31, but even if the average $23.14 price target is true, we could get a 17% price return from investing into this company, which is fantastic news, because that means even if negative bearish analysts are correct about the stock, this stock still has great upside potential to make us money back on our investment. But what do you think? Comment your thoughts down below, like this video right now, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next YT video.